Hello and welcome to the last episode of New Game Plus for this season. My name is Jason. I am your host. It's great to have you here. We're a little bit lax with the stands at the moment. Delinquents have shown up on set. It's okay. We're going to get through it. But we decided before we go into that post E3 lull that we give you a little bit of a catch up on the things that we missed, as well as discuss what we're looking forward to. Don's back with his last OTL for the season, and we'll be back obviously after that. But for now, something completely different. Now, what I was thinking I'd do while we were waiting for the set to be broken down and put up for the new one is discuss what some of the guys you don't see on camera at the moment have been playing as well. And of course, some of them aren't going to surprise you. I mean, I don't think any of them are really going to surprise you. Shaney suggested a bit of Dota 2 because, of course, it gives you the opportunity to deny yourself. Mish is playing Mr. Love, Queen's Choice, which of course involves 4 handsome men who demand your time, your attention, and your money. And she's, of course, happy to give all 3 of those things to them. And you know, when you're the BL Queen, you've got to live up to your name. Prospects playing Final Fantasy 14. They're all kind of getting ready for Shadowbringer, which is coming very soon. It's going to be interesting to see just how many nights we lose to the guys on that one. Don't forget to check out our Discord. Mog, our resident Monday streamer, of course, is playing Dead by Daylight, which helps her get rid of all those homicidal urges that she has growing up in the Bay Area. Don's on Magic Arena because we're kind of sick of paying for cardboard, but at the same time it keeps him off the street, which is nice. It's always a good positive message to go with everything. Brandon and Trey, in the saddest of the lot, as far as I'm concerned, are playing Warframe, a game that has had so many spikes in activity and it's just increased in quality so exponentially. But of course, it's giant robots fighting each other. Well, is it exosuits or robots? You tell me. I can't remember. But I'm not surprised that they're playing a bunch of Warframe in the meantime. And of course, Jodie wants you to play more Pokemon Let's Go Eevee because, you know, it's Jodie and that's what she wants you to play. So there's plenty of great games there. All our guys are recommending things that you would expect out of them for you to check out while there is a break in traffic. And it gives you something to do between all the E3 press conferences. Well, and that was us discussing exactly what we have been playing, but there's a bunch of stuff. I mean, we had a bit of a stilted start to the season this year, so we did miss a lot of games and a lot of particularly interesting news. So I figured I'd get Don on to discuss exactly what it is that we missed.
It's kind of like tuning into Game of Thrones halfway through the 6th season.
And you're wondering, why is she burning people and you know, the women and the children?
Just spoilers. Spoilers.
Come on, man. We're all on Facebook. Doesn't matter. But there are a bunch of games that we didn't cover. And only because we either ran out of time or we wanted to discuss particular topics on the other one. First one's probably not something that you have much experience with. That, of course, is Jump Force.
I'm going to smile and nod politely.
Because Jump Force is that game that came out and was like a poor man's One Piece Burning Blood. And then all it's done is just add random Shonen Jump characters to try and increase its longevity.
Isn't that what these previous Jump games were like in the first instance, all the way back to the DS iterations?
Yes, but I mean, like obviously the DS one's Jump Stars and the other one had the really cool comic book mechanic where you had like a page and you filled it with cells and that added either boosts or power-ups or whatever. God, they were good games. Like, if you can be bothered the translation guide's like 75 pages and you can still find it up on Game FAQs after all this time. That was great. Jump Force was not great. It was very, very...
As a fan, you weren't serviced?
Great. No. Like, compared to One Piece Burning Blood, I'd just rather play Burning Blood again, and that is the problem, is when I'm like, I'd just rather play the other one. Yikes. Speaking of games that... style of games you like, but a game you didn't like, Anthem.
Anthem was a particular tire fire. Like, it just came in broken. It continued to be broken. And one could argue that it got even worse as the game went on. Like, the fact that they were balancing the game, but also taking away loot from players, basically. You know, the reason why you play a loot shooter.
Yes, correct.
And plus, it came off, a month later, you had Destiny 2, which was by far a more superior and more polished product. So it just didn't spell
Do you mean Division 2?
Yes.
You
what did I say?
You said Destiny 2, but that's right. You love Destiny.
Freudian,
Donald loves
Freudian
Destiny. Donald does Destiny. Doesn't matter.
Nice try.
The other one is Tetris 99. So this is one of those kind of cultural phenomena that just randomly came out of nowhere. Nintendo, oh, by the way, with your sub for Thing, you get unlimited access to Tetris 99, which is Battle Royale Tetris.
Yes, like it's the joke is Battle Royale X whatever. It seems like a joke when the trailer came out, and then when you play this, it actually felt like a real good Tetris game.
Yes.
Admittedly, not as good as Tetris Effect, which came out last year.
Yeah,
but like
yeah.
it is like for like a week, it was a joyful, wonderful experience, and then people got really good at that game.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's always that thing. Like you see the strategy guys, and one of the legitimate strategies is just don't play when the Japanese play.
Hard for us Australians, unfortunately.
Yeah, because we do, and like obviously now they've got the was it $10 bonus pack which gives you marathon mode.
Yeah.
And yeah,
But
like,
they added what they needed to, which
Yes.
was the classic Game Boy theme and song. Admittedly, you had to play during a limited time event to get it. I did, I got it, and I don't need to play the game again.
understood.
Speaking of games that
You've
people
never
may
played
not have to play again.
Apex
Speaking- no,
Legends.
actually, let's try that again. Speaking of battle royales,
Oh my. Okay. Apex Legends.
that's another game which came out of nowhere, was announced and released on the same day, and it hit a particular cultural zeitgeist at the
Yes.
time when it was even topping Fortnite in terms of Twitch viewers and players.
Yeah, yeah, and it had this real cultural phenomenon about it. That was obviously the meme about Ninja being paid literally $1 million to play 8 hours of it. Like, good work if you can get it. And it seems to have died off, and not enough that obviously it's dead. It's the same with PUBG. It's not that PUBG's dead. It's just compared to its arc, it's on its kind of downward
It's
descent.
downward or sort of plateau.
Plateauing, yeah,
really,
yeah.
is probably what I'd go for.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
that's
also
fair.
that, like on one hand, like no one anticipated the success of Apex Legends, so this developer Respawn Entertainment didn't really have the time to sort of ramp up its production to be sort of the equivalent of Fortnite in terms of the constant barrage of new content. And given some of the stories that have come out in terms of Epic Games, Fortnite, and the constant developer crunch that is going on at that
Yes.
studio, maybe it's a good thing.
And I mean, it came out just around Anthem time too, which doesn't help EA. Someone was very angry at a board
On the
member's meeting after.
contrary, it saved EA.
I think that's a fair call to make.
I mean, what else are we going to play? Battlefield V?
Yeah, okay.
Apex Legends was good though.
On that note, Dirt Rally 2 is another one that came in. Obviously, the Dirt games, and there was what are the other ones? By Codemasters,
Grid.
Grid.
And Formula One.
Yeah, yeah. That, like
Yeah.
they make it. They've kind of taken the mantle of the racing game
Yeah.
studio, and they always had it in the old days, and then they've kind of got it back now.
And Dirt 2 was like an improvement on Dirt 1, Dirt Rally 1 rather, in terms of handling, in terms of simulator. But there are a couple of things that kind of kneecapped that game. That it's always online requirement
Yeah.
at launch, which is
Yeah.
never a good thing. The sort of progression, the fact that at launch anyway, there was no difficulty setting. So you were just trouncing through the early early campaigns, and then once you hit something, then you hit a brick wall. Sorry, a tree in the field.
Yeah. Easy leftover, maybe.
Yeah.
No, and I guess that's so. They're probably the games that we've missed. We covered a lot of the news. We covered the rise of Epic. We covered the influence of China. We covered a lot of stuff.
Yeah, we did miss out though on a big new fancy console, the Google Stadia.
As an Australian, Google Stadia offends me, and it offends me that they think that it's a viable option. And it's annoying that Sony and Microsoft are going down that road to discuss.
Like Google Stadia, it's optimistic in terms of its always streaming functionality. Maybe a better compromise would be the option for offline downloading, which is something that Sony has since discovered with its PlayStation Now service,
Yes.
which is basically Xbox Game Pass.
So basically
but on
turned into Game
PlayStation.
Pass. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and that's, let's be real, that's what they need to do when they're somewhere in Australia.
But then again, like Google Stadia might be a product that's way ahead of its time. It might not be a 2019 or 2020 product, but it might be the thing in 2025, 2030.
That's nice. I'll be dead by then, so it doesn't matter.
Happy.
I'm getting yells out from the background that there's not enough dinosaur games. Someone's going to have to attend to that.
You're getting Monster Hunter Frost thingy at the
Frost thingy. Monster Hunter Frost thingy, you heard it here first
Yes.
on New Game Plus. And I don't know, is that what it's really, what's it called? Iceborne?
Iceborne,
Iceborne. That's the one. Iceborne.
I think.
Shush.
When you see me sitting here at the news desk about to start another On The Level, you don't know what I'll talk about. Will I discuss exploitation in esports? Will I go into the flaming train wreck that is AAA game development? Will my jokes be funny for once? It's an endless possibility space. Kinda like opening up a loot box? That's right, gather your mates and sit up straight. It's time for another Loot Crate update, brought to you by Seagate. Create and backdate your duplicates on first-rate solid states. Now, let's begin by returning to Belgium, home of Spa Frankenshop and Mulfree, and certainly no other stereotypes about food. Last time we checked in, the Belgian Gaming Commission had just declared that loot boxes were a form of gambling. Game publishers have since reflected and reconsidered their monetization models and have come up with something that's fairer for the players. Of course they didn't. They just disabled loot boxes in Belgium whilst keeping them for the rest of the world. Companies like Valve, 2K and Blizzard complied quickly. However, EA, whose FIFA games were specifically called out by the Commission, refused to budge, and they insisted that the FIFA Ultimate Team packs did not constitute gambling. This is despite the fact that they very much do. It's, Oh, I got it. It's kind of like writing a report attempting to clear your organization of corruption, all the while participating in corrupt acts. It's like I pulled that example out of nowhere. Finally, 9 months after the Commission handed down its ruling, EA relented and blocked Belgian players from buying the premium currency to purchase Ultimate Team packs. I guess Belgians can finally use this extra money to buy a whole bunch of other games. Or waffles. Sorry, I couldn't help myself. But it isn't only the Belgian government that is taking on loot boxes. See also America, the home of Daytona Speedway, Chicken and Waffles, and one chicken-colored waffler. It is also the home of Republican Senator Josh Hawley, seen here winning 3rd place in his local Nicolas Cage lookalike competition. You'll win that face-off one day, Josh. He announced a bill aimed at banning loot boxes and pay-to-win mechanics called the Protecting Children from Abusive Games Act, which sounds like it should protect kids from the game Anthem, although really, even adults need protection from that hot mess. There are questions about how the proposed laws will work in practice. The bill is targeted at, quote, minor-oriented games, which, contrary to expectation, aren't games that are played only deep inside gold mines. Rather, the term covers any game which could be played by kids under the age of 18. So, basically every video game ever? Call of Duty may have as many mature stickers as it wants, but based off the squeaky voice chat I encounter when I play that game, the average age of that game's player base has to be 11 years old. If this bill passes, how will it be enforced? We simply don't know. Maybe every game with loot boxes will have to be classified as adults only. Maybe we'll just get an age gate, which, as the history of the internet has proven, is 100% effective at stopping kids from accessing grown material. That's just science. How will it affect mobile games produced outside of America? Could it impact digital card games like Magic Arena? Oh, dip, Magic Arena. Okay, that's it, the US lawmakers. Now you've made this personal. You are going to have to pry my Magic cards from my cold, dead hand.
You can have this back when you've calmed down.
Yes, boss. In late May, the bill was brought into Congress with the support of Democratic Senators Ed Markey and Richard Blumenthal, seen here after opening 50 Magic boosters without opening that rare Teferi card that they so badly want. By the way, you heard that right. Republicans and Democrats have actually come together to agree on something. Granted, it wasn't on something like climate change or the rights of minorities, but small successes and all that. The bill has a while yet before it becomes law, but the game industry is already attacking it. The Entertainment Software Association has called the legislation flawed and riddled with inaccuracies. The ESA has called on the bill's co-sponsors to work with the association to raise awareness on, quote, the tools and information in place that keep the control of video game play and in-game spending in parents' hands rather than the government's. Game publishers? You may not want to play the self-regulation card given how badly you've let loot boxes and pay-to-win spiral out of control. Which brings me, as most things do, to Harry Potter. Hogwarts Mystery was released last year as a free-to-play mobile game, and those words should immediately fill you with dread, much like System Update Required and the new Imagine Dragons album. Nobody deserves Imagine Dragons. Hogwarts Mystery restricts your story progress whenever you've run out of energy, so far, so usual. However, the first time that you will run out of energy is during this scene. Yep, right as your character is being choked to death with vines, the game forces you to cough up premium currency to progress, or to wait a couple of hours. J.K. Rowling would be outraged at what's happening to her universe, if she wasn't too busy tweeting about Hagrid's porno collection or whatever. Now, much like those vines, governments are clearly putting the pressure on the game industry, and it's working. The Google Play Store will now require games with loot boxes to disclose their odds. And games are increasingly moving away from loot boxes and towards battle passes, which provide rewards via progress rather than through luck. Some games have adopted them, but Dota 2 has well and truly weaponized them. One of the rewards in the International 2019 Battle Pass is an evolving voice line, which gets longer for every 100 levels you gain. And when I say gain, I pretty much mean buy at $45 per 100 levels. And boy, oh boy, have people bought. Up to level 10,000, level 15,000, and level Saudi Oil Tycoon. That may sound like a joke, but it turns out that the owner of that account is literally a prince of Saudi Arabia. Won't the publishers and lawmakers think of the poor, poor, incredibly rich oil royals? And that will do it for this edition of the Loot Crate Updates. Will this debate dissipate by the next date, or will Magistrate be fated to interrogate and incarcerate? Either way, it'll be sure to fascinate. And that is everything that has happened in the world, ever.
And it is, the time is finally drawing to a close on this season of New Game Plus, but I figured it's worth looking into the future and seeing what games are coming up. And I figured I'd bring long-time contributor and long-time friend of the show, Jamie Galea, in.
It sounds like I'm not part of the show anymore. Is this my firing?
Actually, yeah, pizza
have
party.
I been punked?
Pizza party. No, figure we discuss some of the games coming up because we are in that interesting part of the year where there hasn't been a lot of games announced for we're starting to get the next gen trickles. We're starting to get all this, so we know kind of what's coming in 2020. We've had Death Stranding announced, but like it seems like it's a reasonably quiet end to 2019.
Yeah, it just feels like at this point, like there's not a ton coming out, but what is coming out does seem exciting.
Yes, yeah. So and there is a few. So I mean, do we just do a quick list?
Yeah, go ahead.
So between now and when we come back, you should have Judgment,
Which is the next game by the Yakuza team.
Yep, which looks so good. Like it's that dumb Yakuza style game. Looks really, really fun. Samurai Showdown. Old mate SNK bringing back the classic brands. Sunken City. Lots of hype around that as well. I know one you're particularly keen on. Super Mario Maker 2.
Yes. By the time you're watching this, I'll be playing that. Be hype.
Yes, like it'll be interesting to see how the touchscreen comes into it. It should be really, really fun. Fire Emblem 3 Heroes.
Yeah, that's
3 Heroes. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, that's 3 houses, but
that's
that'll be Fire Emblem for those who like Fire Emblem. But before that, though, we're getting Dragon Quest Builders 2. You know, the sequel to I would say one of the more underrated Dragon Quest games in a long time.
Yeah, that's fair. Like I think Builders took me by surprise because I've never been a huge Minecraft fan. I get it. Like, I get why it's popular. I get everything about it. It's just, meh. But Builders had enough kind of do this stuff. You know, there was enough kind of the if X, then Y, but also enough story to do it. And they really played up the fact that you aren't a hero. You're not going to run around. You're not like, what was, because isn't there one that's like not Fire Emblem, like a Dynasty Warriors kind of one?
That is also another game like that. Yeah, that's the Dragon Quest Heroes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
also Slimes.
Yeah. So, you know, and so it like Builders took me by surprise. Builders 2 is apparently co-op, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, dear Lord.
That'll be great. I'm also really looking forward to a couple of kind of big, not so much sequels, but more kind of big games from a couple of developers I really like. I'm that hype about it. So we got Wolfenstein Youngblood, which will be...
Yeah, that's going to be sick. Yeah.
But also Control by the next game by Remedy.
So that is the next one by Remedy, isn't it?
Yes.
Because I saw an ad come up for it the other day at EB. Because I remember the joke about when it first came out. If you buy the digital deluxe edition on, like, they had that big planogram of how to buy the content, and it was just awful.
great.
It was the meme du jour for that.
You got to
game for a
buy it on
long
the
time.
PlayStation to get this stuff. You got to buy it on the Xbox to get this stuff, and you got to buy it on the Epic Game Store. You know, the best game store. That's great. But also...
Jamie isn't paid by Epic
No,
to make
God,
that
no.
comment,
But speaking of which, there's another game I'm looking forward to by a developer I really like, and only because it's been a long time since we've really heard anything major from them, which is the Dark Pictures Man of Medan, which is made by the developers of Until Dawn.
Right,
Which was kind of one of the, like, a PlayStation game that I really, really liked. and I'm blanking on it. Supermassive. Those guys.
Supermassive, yeah, that's it. There are some really good games coming. Platinum's in the mix. Like all these developers that we know.
That's right, Astral Chain.
Astral Chain.
Chain, not train.
Astral Train. That's It's.
It works.
I've seen Rick and Morty. It's fine. There are so many. Despite it seeming like it's going to finish as a quiet year, there are actually a reasonable amount of good titles out there. Astral Chains look interesting just because it looks like what you would call a standard Platinum game. Here's this silly concept that we have. Enjoy it, please enjoy it. As opposed to like some of the other stuff where they're working for companies doing Star Fox and stuff like that.
Well, let's not talk about Star Fox, please.
Let's not. When that Switch release comes out and they let me actually play the game properly and not have to motion control.
Look, it's either that or you get 1 for 101, but that's, again, less said about those two, the better.
What If 101 was a good game, though? That was fine. It seems to me like they're actually being allowed to do that. And again, like I say, as we record this, we don't know what Microsoft's got coming. There's rumors that they're going to be.
Of course, as well as we record this at E3 hasn't happened yet.
Correct. So we know what kind of Sony's doing. We have a little bit of a hint of what. Nintendo have filled their schedule basically until the end of the year. But they haven't gone into 2020 yet. So
well, I mean, there is still this little thing called Animal Crossing, but we're not going to talk about that.
We don't talk about it until they talk about it, and they haven't said goddamn anything, and so
it makes us both sad. But hopefully by the time you're watching this, we will be in a world where there is a new Animal Crossing and it's not a spin-off.
Look, Happy House Designer was fun, but I wouldn't play it forever.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to play that either.
Yeah. Anyway, is there any... I guess the other thing we should cover before we go is like big events we've got coming up. So but in between the season break and the start of the new season, we'll have Tech Games Fest, which we're always hosting and doing cool stuff down there. We'll have Melbourne Esports Open, Jamie.
That is true.
And then obviously we'll be heading into, again, we'll obviously have a Tokyo Game Show episode. I don't know if you've seen the show before, but we do tend to like our Japanese games.
Oh yeah, that's right. I'm going to Japan as we're filming the next season. Spoilers. So you're not going to see much of me.
Zomg. But yeah, so there's definitely lots of cool things you can check out with us. Again, Gerard and myself do the podcast every Wednesday, so that goes up a thing. You've started on some cool website articles as well, which is nice, and get your news. We've got obviously the live streams every week. So if you do miss us on television, there will be chances for you to enjoy New Game Plus in many, many other formats.
But in order to find out where most of that is, we have some social media channels.
We do. So you go to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter,
Instagram. I think we're on Weibo. I'm joking. We're not. We're
online though. We are online. And they're all New Game Plus TV. Of course, newgameplus.tv is the website. Is there any messages you want to send to the nice people before we go on break? What's your last hope that people take away during our mid-season break?
Be excellent to each other. Make more Mario Maker 2 levels because I want to play them all.
That's it.
And please don't make Twitter bad. Well, it already is, but don't make it worse.
I don't think you're getting that last one for Christmas, but the rest are possible. Thank you very much for watching this season of New Game Plus. Hope you've enjoyed the format. Don't forget to send us an email, jump into our mailbox, Discord channel. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you want to see. We've still got some cool changes coming. And as we start to feel out the set and give it a few personal touches, we hope you enjoy it more and more and more. We will see you guys next month? No, quarter. Next quarter. Let's say that one.